Looks like you've had a long day. Why don't you relax on a weekend?
Thank you so much. That's all I need now.
We were just thinking that if the entire wall had that blue light, it would actually look nice, like with these
Yes.
patterns in it.
We need to project as well. But yeah, I mean, we could have like a spotlight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it adds
does,
a layer
especially
to
with
it.
these colors. I think it goes very nice.
It
goes
does.
well. This is nice. Okay.
So, what do you feel is the difference of you sitting over here and looking at the wall as compared to standing and looking at what and talking about the wall to people?
I think seeing from this perspective and being here at the floor level, kind of makes it more immersive. Definitely makes it more immersive because I am not walking around, so I have the time to really become less aware of my body presence in the space and more aware of the effects of the light in my eyes, because it's quite hypnotic in a way. Right? It's quite bright, and the combination of the brightness of the LEDs and the darkness of the environment, it's quite fascinating thing. It makes you, me at least, in a kind of a state of contemplation almost. But of course the patterns are not very fast as well, so they help a lot as well. The colors are quite nice, that we chose.
Yeah, the sense is not clearly stable.
You can see that.
But what are the emotions you were feeling when looking at the videos being projected?
Well, I think the first time I saw it, which was last week, and I only saw a video that Scarlett had done, but it was a video of my heartbeat. I was actually quite emotional in part because of course I put a lot of effort on this, a lot of work, and just seeing like you guys, my students, making use of it, and literally seeing my heartbeat on the wall, which I put my heart on this, it's quite interesting. It was really an emotional moment. Now, of course, it's no longer that novel, so I can watch it and appreciate that with a different perspective. I mean, it's not sensing anything right now, so I'm just watching the patterns that are there. I still think that it's super cool, so I feel very happy, and I feel very proud of you guys for making something interactive out of this, and having the courage really to do it, because it's a jump in the dark, almost literally. We didn't know if you trust me in a way.
We always knew we could trust you.
Which is fine, but I mean, it doesn't depend on me only.
Yeah.
But still, I think it was a quite brave thing to do. It's ambitious. Your concept is ambitious, although seemingly simple. It's quite ambitious, and it is very poetic. I like the simplicity of it and the depth it has. But it's just the beginning anyway. It shows the potential. I was talking to the guys from CIS, Alan and Deb, and they were saying even on Friday when it was raining, they could see the potential. What else could be done?
One of them
really
tried
powerful.
it on Friday as well.
Yeah, Alan was saying he tried on Friday,
Yeah.
and he came back to that tonight. So he's definitely seeing the point.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to say that, and he did, which I think is a very powerful thing for you guys as well. And for me, it's in terms of more experiential thing. I think this is really. I could stay here for hours. It's really relaxing. If you subtract the audio, which of course is an exhibition, group exhibition, so it's there. But on a daily basis, this would be like very calm. You could sit here and really almost have like a very immersive, quiet time. It reminds me. I mean, the first time I had like an experience like this was when I was in Vivid. First Vivid, there was an artwork inside the Opera House by Brian Eno, who's a famous musician and visual artist as well, producer, lots of other things. And he's really good in what he does. And he had like an artwork inside the Opera House. It's called the 77,000 paintings, I think it was called. And it was something that very minimalistic like this, just that light, but changing patterns non-stop. And you had like bags like this as well. Everything was very colorful but dimmed down, quite dark. And that's what you could experience. And it was awesome. And you had people going there and staying there for hours, just sitting, laying down there, watching the lights. And there's something about seeing bright lights in the dark that triggers some emotional states on us as humans. And it always works. Even if it's abstract, even if it's very, very low lit like this. Right now I don't have much going on, right? Yeah. But you don't really have none. You need to have like, it's almost like a fireplace. Right? If I was like an ancient human lying on the grass, and this is almost like a
yeah,
you've been very well preserved.
Yes, I know.
One of the things that it makes us feel is like fireworks of heartbeats.
Yeah.
Vampires live on blood, we live on coffee.
We live on coffee, that's right. But like fireworks, I was actually talking to Luis about this the other day. Yeah. Fireworks, they are a good example because they're always, it's kind of the same, but they're always fascinating. You can't help but feeling something, being triggered by that. Yeah. And I think this has the same potential. I mean, all of the light installations have, but this being high on the architecture and you laying down here and observing, it just keeps going over and over. It's quite hypnotic and maybe, or should I say, even therapeutic in a way.
The main.
You have to go.
You have to go.
I'll chat with you.
Thank you so much. Is this Louis?
Louis wants
Okay, I'll
Thank you for coming, Ruchi.
No problem.
Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you for your
I'll see you when
support.
you receive your marks in spirit. I'll be nice.
Thank you.
Thank you for
You're
your
going away
support
next
for the
week,
whole
right?
semester.
Yeah, but I'll message you anyways.
Yeah.
I'm floating.
Okay.
Till next Thursday, I'm floating around.
Okay. Cool. See you floating around.
I'll let you know if I get started again.
See you, Ruchi. Thank you.
So the main goals for us when we were thinking of this project was to make a person feel calm and relaxed from a busy day, and also give out a community vibe to this entire area.
Yes.
So how far do you feel has that come across in our project? You've seen us through the process, so
I think you. Let me think about it.
you can take your time.
I think what I like about the approach you guys took is that you, until very recently, you couldn't really know how this would look like.
Yeah.
So kind of working with things you've seen in the past, right? So you could kind of imagine how that might look like, and you saw it for a few minutes during the day when you installed.
Yeah.
But we couldn't really be sure how it would look like at night until last week.
We also saw it in rain.
It was in rain as well,
Yeah.
so it was hard to get a full picture. In fact, only today we're having the chance to bring your concept together as you envisage it. So I think you've been really brave, but also you make use of probably one of the best qualities in a designer, which is to work with the conditions and plan for the best, being prepared for the worst, and try to imagine realities, right? So that's what you've done. You didn't have anything concrete to play with, unlike any other group, right? You didn't have anything to play with.
Yeah.
So you played with what you could, and you tried to extrapolate that to how it would look like in reality. This is extremely important because often, especially when working with placemaking, and I think I mentioned that in one of my lectures, there is no room for test on site. You can't you just can't, because as soon as you start testing, it's there and everybody's seeing it.
Yeah.
So you often have to work with lots of assumptions and make sure that those assumptions align in a way that if they are not true, it's not going to be a disaster. They're still going to work somehow. So I was really pleased when I saw your final design, because it was simple enough to convey the effect. I should say it was simple enough to be fail-proof almost, but it was powerful enough to convey the effect that you were envisaging, like calm and at the same time this very interpersonal relationship with the architecture. Like, it's my heart right now. It's a very powerful thing. So, and it worked, right? We tested last week, and pretty much immediately.
We did.
Right, and I was very, very, very positively surprised about it, because that shows that you guys thought about how it could look like a lot, and you were careful enough to design in a way that it would somehow work. And all the refinements we had to do were things that you could not have knew before anyway, which are how the colors appear on the wall, etc. There was no way for you guys to know about it. But everything else are minor tweaks. The effect, the essence is still there. And that's really pleasing to see. It doesn't have to be gigantic. The sense of, they have a lot of elements there. This is one way of doing it, and it's super cool. It's great. It's a great word. But it doesn't necessarily make it better or worse than yours. They're different things. And as I mentioned quite a few of the lectures, and Mark made this point quite a lot as well, often striking a good effect with simple things is hard, but if you do it right, it's much more powerful.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say this is the best iteration you could have had, for obvious conditions, right?
Yeah.
But I think with what you had to work with, you did an amazing job. Again, how does that relate to placemaking in general? I think that would be, you probably would need to live here for a while, or to come back here a few days, so that people get used to the idea of having this on the wall. And that will actually work as a placemaking strategy. But the potential is there, and you got feedback from people who know about placemaking. They've been working with that, they've been designing this whole space, and the feedback you got and I got from them is really positive. So I think you should definitely take this as a genuine compliment, because they felt the value that you tried to convey to your design. But you said that you can always make it better, of course. Right? Now you see that maybe for your report, what you should think briefly, without too much explanation of that, is how could you? How could you now that you've seen it in place and got opinions from people, how would the next iteration be? Right? How could you build on this? How could you make it even more powerful? If you could. If you could change anything now, let's say if I gave you an extension, let's say a month of extension, what would you do?
We've got multiple ideas. Like, people really, so our sensor isn't so stable, and like when people touch it, of course, when people touch it with harder force, the lights come smaller, and when people use it gently, like that time, that's your actual heartbeat. So people feel like it's a game. Like if you press it harder, it goes small and it goes big.
That's something you could explore further.
People actually like interacting with the wall a lot more, and they feel like that they want to do more. Like right now it's just like the heartbeat, but they love the idea of the heartbeat. So if there could be something more happening around the heartbeat, they would really enjoy it. That's what they feel.
That's really interesting feedback.
Yeah.
Because of course, it is really nice and it's really powerful, but it requires some effort. It requires you to come here and see them being back and staying here for a while and knowing how to use the sensor, and the sensor to be working
perfectly.
Accurately. Yes. So there's a lot of elements that may compromise the quality of the experience.
Yeah.
But the potential is there, right? And I think over and over when I talk about media facades, large media displays like this, is the scale that really makes the installation.
Yeah.
So how much can I control this thing? It's remarkable. If you think of it, it's real time. You're controlling this world.
And not everyone realize that, like, if they take their finger off, we have videos being projected.
Yeah.
So not everyone noticed it, but when they did, they actually enjoyed it a lot. Like, they even enjoyed just like lying down and looking at that.
So I think it's has a lot of potential. I mean, it's the first iteration, and as I said, of all groups, your group didn't have really the chance of playing with the real thing because you were depending on infrastructure. And it's probably this is the closest you can get from doing things for real in a city. Right? You often cannot get your hands on your final infrastructure.
No, but I feel like that has worked out in a positive way for us, because it made us work on the iterations, like make it better and better. Like instead of coming away and trying our first iteration,
exactly.
Like, this has changed the process for us completely.
And that's what saying this is probably the best quality you can get as a designer, because it makes you really think twice and 3 times, 4 times, and try to imagine how it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Without really being able to test it for sure. So it makes you become more aware of all the different variables that play in your system, because often, most of the times, in fact, you can't control everything. Right? It's very rare that you have the experience of creating something from beginning to the end and you have control over everything.
Everything, yeah.
If whatever you're doing, being a mobile application, being a backend for a bank or a media facade, you have to depend on infrastructure that you have no control of. Or a projector, like you have to call security to turn it on. You have to work with the conditions. And designing for this is challenging because of that. But I think if that's the attitude you're having, that makes it even more pleasing, because you're getting the fact that actually is a good thing.
Yeah, because now we've been through the process, and now we can see like how we came about through the process and what we focused on in every stage.
Yeah, I think it makes you stronger. Those constraints really makes your design stronger. It makes you as a designer more disciplined to really plan ahead and to work with what you can and to make that prototype. That's what a prototype is, right? Prototype to the conditions you have. So I think you should be really proud of what you managed to get. It is great, especially for you who've never done this before, right?
This is our first digital placemaking project, and it's the first project for all 4 of us that has been so big.
Yeah, I know.
And thank you for giving us this opportunity from all of us.
This was the whole point. I wish that was available earlier in the semester.
No, it's good for us.
And I felt guilty myself, to be honest with
you. You don't have to be. It worked out really good for us. Thank you.
But I think, this is life really. It's like the rain last week, right?
Yeah.
Some things you can't control.
Yeah.
The important thing as a designer is to know how to react. So you have something that's unforeseen, unpredictable, and it doesn't work in your favor, and you can't change. What do? Right? You can't sit and cry and despair. Right? You have to work with what you have and find a way out. And this, you're gonna be finding yourself in this situation over and over and over. Last 2 lives didn't work. What can I do? I can't. There's nothing I can do right now. So I pick a solution that, in my view, is the appropriate right now. But you have to learn how to react quickly and still make it work. And you can only do so by going through the situation. So I'm glad in a way, in an unforeseen way, this unit helped you to have this experience. And going even further, yours is probably the most visible work of the largest, right? That changes your concerns as well. Right? Whatever you do here, if it didn't work at all, it would not work for a lot of people, right? Yeah. It's going to be really visible. So you have to be really thoughtful about it.
The stability of the sensor was a big issue today.
Yeah, that's probably something you could work in another iteration of it as well. Like if the sensor fails, it dies completely.
Yeah.
Something should be happening. Right?
Yeah.
And you have like a plan B somehow. Even if it's just movies playing, like the movie you have works well. They're beautiful colors, but if you don't know the concept of just walking by, you may feel like, well, no, there's nothing going on really. So maybe going forward,
Add more meaning to it.
Yeah, add something else to it, right? But it's not a criticism. It's just like now you see it, you can have those ideas.
Yeah. Now there's so much we could think about after today's interviews. Like
I'm glad
there's so much that we want to do now.
Again, you guys, you're graduating, right? You're graduating now.
Yeah.
You have still a few more because you're going for the lighting, right?
Lighting, yeah.
So have one more year more.
Yes.
But even after graduating, if you guys want to continue to use this as a platform, this is open for everyone.
It's really nice.
So, we are making this open mostly for our students and researchers, but you are alumni, right? You're a former student, or you'll be soon. You should be able to use it. And if you want to, if you have content, have new ideas, if you want to keep improving this, I would be happy to keep showing this.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. Because the feedback's really positive, right? Everybody I talk to about this, of course, it's a novelty as well. So that's it. That's this factor as well, right? If you have that every day, probably in a month, it wouldn't be as interesting anymore. But if you keep changing it, and if you keep it special, like you have special surprises that happen sometimes.
See you.
See ya. Sorry, I didn't get to get the photo with you.
Sorry?
I didn't get to get a photo with you.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time.
I'll be around for the end of the show, end of the year show, end of semester show. Yeah.
Showcase? Okay, we'll be there.
You'll be there? Okay.
Yeah.
I think
definitely should take a picture with you.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Remind me of that.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in re-exhibiting this, I think that would be really cool for that day. If you want to.
Yeah.
Is that the
we will
design at
finish
dusk?
it.
Yes.
So we couldn't present, right?
Well, for you, we could have it on.
We could have a video going on.
Yeah,
Have
that's
The whole world.
remove the building there.
Yeah.
Brick by brick.
I think we could show a video.
You
can
That's
show a
the best.
video.
Yeah.
You could have people controlling the wall from there.
Yeah.
Not the same.
live
Not the same
webinar.
thing, yes.
Webinar.
All right.
So
Okay. See you guys. Thank you so much again.
See you.
And looking forward to your final report.
Sorry?
Looking forward to see your final report.
Yeah. We were working hard for that.
Thank you so much. So what I was saying, yes, if you want to re-exhibit this or anything else on this wall, let me know.
We'll keep that in mind.
We will have a formal launch for the university for this location. I think it will
When's
be
that happening?
not sure yet, so we're discussing this right now with CIS. Probably in some point in July.
July.
Maybe.
We would love to be there.
I think your work would be perfect.
Then
for
we
this.
will keep this.
Keep this. Honestly, I think it will be perfect for it.
Yeah.
What we may need to do is just make sure that it works
Yes.
all the time, right?
Yes.
And we could come and test a few more evenings before that to make
Yeah.
sure it works. But I think it would be really perfect for it. And that's going to be, whenever it happens, it's going to be a big thing with me. It's going to be on university news and everything.
Wow.
Because it's going to be the formal, official launch of this whole space as a new space for the university. So there are a few things that I need to do. With the projector, I've been talking to a few other people to have animations for the projectors as well. But your work being the first
With the lights.
interactive work
Yeah.
with the lights, I think you should be part of it.
We would love to. We'll talk about it.
Yep.
Let you know.
If you're around in July.
All of us, I'm not sure about Scarlett. I'll just check with her.
Okay. I'm not sure if it's going to be in July either. Maybe August. But
I might not be here.
probably
That would
July.
be ideal, yeah.
Yeah?
That would be perfect because
Well-
they will come back.
It's not up to me, to be honest. I think the intention is to launch it before the semester starts, so that'll be July.
You can let us know about that.
I'll let you know. Bye. I see you soon. See you.
We have one last question for
Yeah,
you.
I have to go.
Yeah, I understand. What pumps your heart?
What pumps my heart? Among other things, to see my students being able to do things they've never done before.
So modest.
Honestly, yeah.
It's really sweet.
And that, I mean, in a way, that's because I was so upset on Friday because it rained so much. It was a shame.
Today worked out really well. We were scared this morning. We really
yeah, I know.
scared.
I've been refreshing the weather forecast every 20 minutes, but I was confident that we will be able to run tonight. But I mean, honestly, I think it's. I didn't get to do this when I was a student myself in this masters, so I wanted to get to start playing with things like this when I was a PhD, and it was really hard for me. So I'm being able to give you the opportunity. I think it makes me feel really, really good in that regard. Because this is the first thing you're doing. You're gonna continue.
There's so much,
Right, you're gonna carry on with this. So even if things are not perfect, if they don't work all the time, that's life. But at least we now have a platform that you and future students can use, which is never happened in this university.
It has started now.
So I'm really pleased with that. And just seeing you guys being able to, and seeing like how all of you evolve throughout the semester, it makes my heart pump a lot.
Thank you.
So thank you for being such a great student. And I look forward to see what you're going to come up next with. So it's the last unit for you?
Yes, this is the last semester for me.
Are you coming for graduation? October?
Oh no, I won't be coming back. I'll start working back in India.
Okay, right. So when you're back to India?
End of July.
End of July. So you need to have it before the end of July.
Yeah. I would love it if it happens in July.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the intention, before the classes start. The classes start the last week of July, so it should be before.
That would be nice. If Scarlett's not here in July, we can talk to her.
But she's going to be around next semester, right?
Yeah, next semester she's
But yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for the patience as well. Being such a patient
Not a problem.
student.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
And you can tell everybody you were the first to have this interaction.
Yeah, we're the lucky ones.
Or not, depending on how you depending on how you look at it. But you're the first one, for sure. So thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Which is your favorite project among all?
Aha!